Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
Marky Mark, man, how we doing?
You know, it's another great day in the House of Draft. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. We're over halfway through now, I think. Right? Or not
we
quite?
Are. No, yeah,
No,
we're halfway. We're in the month of July. We're cruising right along. Tell them what the theme for the year is and what we watched this week.
Yeah, so our theme this year, which if you've been a long-time listener, you know we do monthly themes, but this year we're doing a year-long theme, 1 degree of separation. Each film ties one to the last, be it by actor, director, or something like that. So last week we watched The Sixth Day, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tony Goldwyn, and Mark drafted the film The Last Samurai, which also stars Tony Goldwyn, as well as Tom Cruise, Ken Watanabe, Billy Connolly. It's directed by Edward Zwick. It came out in 2003, and it's a lengthy 2 hours and 34 minutes. Thanks,
Ooh.
Mark, for that.
A lengthy. That's a...
I got to set a quarter of my day aside to watch a damn movie.
Listen, before we talk about how we enjoyed this film, how much we enjoyed this film,
You're putting words in my mouth.
I will tell you that my wife absolutely hated it.
Really?
Loathed this movie. To the point where I like she like got up and I was like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, "I don't want to watch this shit anymore." I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And she is.
Did you tell her you drafted it?
Yes,
not me?
100%.
Good. I don't want to be in trouble with the wife.
But she is also a known hater of subtitles. She is also a known hater of historical movies.
Okay.
And so this was like completely out of her wheelhouse, and she hated it. And I was like, and I was like, haven't you seen this before? She goes, no. And if I have, I was drunk. And I'm just, I mean, she was just like trashing the movie, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this movie's awesome. I am going to put words in my own mouth and say, I absolutely love this movie. It is everything I think you could want in and I don't know how historically accurate this film is. But there's something really fucking cool about Tom Cruise as a samurai. That's really fucking cool, bro.
I'm going to kind of preface by saying, what are the type of movies I don't like?
Yeah. War movies.
I don't like war movies, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's just not for me. I don't like war movies. This is a war movie. I have seen this before. This is probably my second, possibly third viewing. I remember really liking it on the first viewing. And I certainly didn't hate it. Like, I'm not preparing you for that sort of thing. But it didn't hit me in the same way it did when I was younger, I guess. There are certainly things I like, certainly things that kind of fall in that war movie trope where I'm not super big on. But it's largely an enjoyable movie. I like the fact that your wife just hated it feels like an extreme reaction to this movie.
Well, she just texted me. It's because like she's like, make sure you tell him that I hated this movie. I was like, I will. I'll let him know.
Yeah.
And she just texted me. She goes, I also hate westerns, and that reminded me of a western.
Okay. Really?
Which I mean, I get. There's a lot of horse.
I can see it a little bit.
There's a lot of horse riding.
thing.
It is the first chunk of the movie where Tom Cruise is in wherever he's at, Texas or wherever, Oklahoma, whatever. It's post Civil War. All right. So probably what, 1880s, 1890s.
Yeah, I know history. Thanks.
So the Civil War was in the 1860s. And this is probably not too far removed from the Civil War, so probably maybe like 1870s. Is because Tom Cruise is very ate up over his time in the Civil War, and
was that? I don't think that was the Civil War because it was Native Americans.
No. I'm sorry. Like, so that So the Battle of Little Bighorn, I think that's what the Custer battle was. Battle of Little Bighorn. Okay, 18.
We are not a history podcast.
I think 1876, and General Custer. Yeah. I don't know.
This is what people tune in
No,
for.
I'm trying to get the like the timeline right. It's because in my mind, this was this movie takes place right after those events, because Tom Cruise is having nightmares, and he's generally depressed over what transpired in his time with Custer, and I mean, the battle. What is that? You talk some so I can look this fucking shit up.
Okay. All right. Let me talk about this movie. So if you've not seen it before, let me run down a little bit of what's going on. Tom Cruise is an American soldier, and apparently he's like pretty good. And he gets tasked by the Japanese Empire and the Emperor to train their soldiers on gunplay, because essentially up until this point, a lot of Japanese warfare has been with swords, and so they need a guy who's good at gunplay to come in.
And let me interject. America is trying to enter an agreement with Japan to provide them with this weaponry. And I don't necessarily know what they would be getting in return, but it was kind of a two-nation agreement.
There are some things I don't understand in the plot. Like, I don't understand why the Emperor wanted Ken Watanabe killed.
Well, I mean, he's the last. The Emperor wants to. The Emperor wants to.
Why?
But he's the. Well, it's because Watanabe's character is the last remaining old Japan. He essentially sees himself, like, I guess maybe he sees himself as this ruler, and the emperor, the young kid, new emperor, is wanting to move the country into more of a industrial age. And I mean, that's from my gathering of just the plot here.
Well, that's what I mean. You don't sound completely confident in that
no
synopsis, because even if that's true, even if the new emperor wants to move into this industrial age, and you might even argue that his right-hand man is more of kind of leading the way, is trying to kill this guy. They even show that the emperor has a level of respect and admiration for Ken Watanabe's character, which is Katsumoto. And I like, they send him into attack. Now, it could be the guy's doing it without his knowledge, but even that guy, I don't understand his need to go get these people. Because if the samurai want to live out in the middle of nowhere and be samurai, cool.
Yeah.
Why do we need to go get them?
Yeah, and, and the only thing I can really equate this to is kind of the foreign, there's old films where a country goes to a new place and they try to assimilate the native people, and the native people fight back, and
right.
I mean, that's really the only thing I can equate it to, is that Japan is in this new age, and they're trying to get everybody to buy into this new way of this new Japan.
There
And
is a definite correlation between the American soldiers and the Native Americans
Mhm.
and this civilized Japan, which they even mentioned Japan wants to be civilized
Right,
now.
right.
Even though the samurai seem pretty civilized to me, they're just not super keen on advancement. Like they're almost like Amish,
Yeah, right.
but more badass. And um but again, it's like who cares? Like we don't go after the Amish. But they do kind of say there's a point where, Tom Cruise is like, yeah, they're savages like you're expecting. But they're not, and but there is that definite correlation because some of the nightmares and the demons that Tom Cruise is dealing with is having slain like an entire village of Native Americans, men,
Right.
women, and children included. And that's sort of what, when he gets this chance to jump sides to join the quote unquote savages and learn about their culture and then now defend that culture, it's him sort of paying penance for what he did, during whatever war it was when he was
It,
killing Native Americans.
yes. All right. So I have found the answers, and so Custer's Last Stand is what it's called. But that was the Battle of Little Bighorn, and it was in Missouri, and it was during the Civil War. No, I'm sorry. It was not during the Civil War. It was in 1876. So after the Civil War is when. And so this movie probably takes place like 1880. And
Okay.
so that lines up like it also lines up that maybe Tom Cruise was in the Civil War. I don't know. That's 1864,
I mean, I think
1865
that's
was
possible.
yeah, was the Civil War. And this 1880, it's like 15 years, but no, I mean it's very plain to see, and the film does a reasonably well job of showing that Tom Cruise is ate up over things that happened in his time with Custer, and he references it many times to Katsumoto, who is very intrigued and who is also pretty well educated for being a samurai that lives out in the middle of nowhere, about world events and what has transpired over in America, and so he's taken this this liking, or not liking, maybe an increased interest in Tom Cruise's character because of who he's been associated with, and Katsumoto has this. He's got this liking to other leaders who stood up to an oppressing force, I guess. And which is weird is because then he asks, like towards the end of the movie, he asks Tom Cruise about hey, what happened to Custer and all that. And Tom Cruise tells him everybody died. And like Katsumoto has like this smile on his face. It's Ken Watanabe is a really good actor.
Yeah.
And his role as Katsumoto here, is very like he's very curious. And I think he does that. He plays that well. He plays his conversations with Tom Cruise, and even his conversations with the wife of the guy that Tom Cruise killed at the beginning of the movie. Just I think he's the best character in the film. Even though the film is very much Tom Cruise's, I think Katsumoto is the best character, is because he's really the driving force throughout the entire film, and Ken Watanabe does a really, really great job of just conveying the leadership, and then the curiosity, and then the friendship, behind the character. So, what did you What did you think? All right, so you said it's a very long 2.5 hours.
I wouldn't say. Well,
You
I
did.
watched it in several sittings, right? So let me say this: going in, I wasn't particularly hyped to rewatch this movie.
Yeah.
I know it's a favorite of yours, and great, I understand why. But for me, I'm like, I don't. This just maybe it's the historical aspect or the fact that it's a war movie. Although I generally like kind of movies in periods, like period pieces, but I was just like, I just not in the mood. So I started it, and it actually didn't go. It didn't feel that long, but I did watch it in like 3 sittings. To be fair, because it made it a little more digestible. Sort of watched each act on its own. So I just think that I found it a little tougher to swallow now. There's the whole white savior thing.
Yeah.
And that was in the back of my mind watching the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm also, I want to say, you can watch this movie and enjoy it, and that's cool. Just, you can acknowledge, yeah, the white savior thing is a problem, but I still like the movie. One of my favorite movies is Basketball. There's a lot of problematic shit in that movie. It's homophobic at times, transphobic. It's a problem. It's one of my favorite movies. It makes me laugh all the time.
Oh, it was also made during a time where that shit didn't really matter.
For sure. But I can acknowledge that as well. And we can acknowledge that this is a white savior movie. Yeah. That's a problem.
Sure. When I was watching this, I was like, wow, Tom Cruise is going to save Japan. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is
right.
That is amazing. I want more of Tom Cruise saving entire nations.
So here's what I'm thinking while I'm watching it and why this is a problem. Have you ever seen a movie where the American military brings a guy over from Japan to teach and lead, and then this foreign guy saves America?
I mean, there's probably movies that exist in other countries about that.
That might be. That might be. I would love to watch one. Let us know if you know of one, but that just is like...
I've never seen that movie.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is a very Americanized feeling trope, maybe.
Yeah,
where America and that's I bet you if you were to ask a faction of this country today, is America saving other countries? And they're like, yes, we're saving.
Are they?
Iran and Israel.
Oh, no.
And Hezbollah and, no, Hamas. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know places or things.
Listen, we're not smart people. So,
but I think this trope of white American men saving the planet, countries, people, like, that's always been a thing.
You think of like The Blind Side. Here comes Sandra Bullock to save us. That's the thing.
That's Oscar winner Sandra Bullock to you.
I love Sandra Bullock.
She won an Oscar for her performance in The Blind
Just
Side.
Pointing that out,
I don't disagree. I'm just saying there is, yes, the white savior trope here is a problem. Is because, but he's not the only white person in the movie. I think I'd feel a little bit different.
Yeah, there is a villain.
You're right. But it's fucking Tom Cruise. That's like I think it'd be different. It was essentially, well, no, it's not the same with Mel Gibson and Braveheart, because that was just all white people. But
that was all white people. Yeah, and also he was one of them.
Right.
He was Scottish.
But I feel like when this movie was made, this movie came out 2003. This is Tom Cruise. I mean, even his star hasn't fallen off, but this is younger Tom Cruise in his powerful years, where you could put him in a box in a movie about him trying to escape from a box and make $1 billion. I just think like
I don't want to watch that movie.
I,
Help! I'm in this cardboard box. Box cutter.
it's just him miming how to get out. No, I just there is something in like the concept here, and I don't know if this is historically accurate at all. I don't know if this was made up. I don't know if there is actually a time in history where America sent soldiers over to Japan to train their army. I don't know, but there is something incredibly cool and incredibly watchable about the idea of Tom Cruise as a samurai. I mean, that's the premise. Tom Cruise as a samurai. You get $1 billion. I mean, I don't know how much this movie made at the box office.
Yeah, we can fact check this $1 billion quote real quick.
You gotta adjust it for inflation, but
on a budget. For sure. That's on a budget of 140 million. It made 111 million domestically.
Okay.
And then made 454 million worldwide.
Okay, so it was an incredible success.
It made money,
yeah,
just not in the States.
Right. An incredible success, half of $1 billion. It's it's I mean, but that's the premise. That is I guarantee you
that was what they sold it as.
Well, that's what they sold it as.
Tom Cruise samurai.
Yeah, and that's
said,
why people went and saw
it.
I mean, look at the fucking poster. The poster is Tom Cruise with angry face with a katana sword raised, riding into battle on a horse in samurai armor. Get the fuck out of here. That is cool as shit. That might be the coolest fucking movie poster in the history of the world.
Boy.
I'm just telling you. There are other things that would have made this film better. All right. I very much could have used more Tom Cruise learning about samurai culture, right? And falling in love with this lady whose husband he killed, and like that could have been the entire movie. I could have done without all of the battle sequences, right? I could have just done Tom Cruise living with his demons and overcoming his demons as a part of learning samurai culture. And that would have been the entire movie. And the premise of Tom Cruise as a samurai still sells it for me. And it probably would have been a better movie. I mean, it's got a 7.8 IMDb rating, which is really fucking high for IMDb.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean,
got a 55 Metacritic.
Yeah, and it's got like a 60-something Rotten Tomato score, but so I mean, it's not a perfect movie, anything but it is insanely watchable. I mean, repeatedly. You could turn this movie on anywhere, and somebody sees Tom Cruise in fucking samurai armor, and they're fucking pulling up a chair.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, I'm here for the wife who starts dating the guy who killed her husband."
Sure. I mean, he's stepdad. He's stepdad to the samurai kids.
He's stepdad to the. I killed your dad. Now I'm your stepdad. I'm moving on in this territory, buddy.
This is my samurai house now.
Yeah, the samurai houses are cool.
Yeah,
that's one thing about this movie. It looks great.
Oh yeah,
I love the village. For some reason in my mind, the final battle took place at night.
I always remember the ending of this movie is like etched in my brain is because just the Gatling gun mowing them down.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
like, why not start with that? It seems like you could have just started with the Gatling guns. Like the howitzers are cool and they make a big noise, but the Gatling guns seem to be the trick.
I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't have been a very long movie if that was the case.
Well, we still got all the setup, right?
Yeah.
It just the final. It would have cut 15, 20 minutes off the end. Nice, tight 2-hour movie. Like, all right, let's go to battle. Everyone's dead. All right. And then we'd leave the theater like, what the fuck did we just watch?
Yeah, it's... I don't know, and like, in Tom Cruise, so in Tom Cruise's filmography, there's roles where he's more invested, I think, than others. There's roles where he's just doing the action thing, and like Tom Cruise so when I was watching this and after I'd watched it, I got to think like the action movie star Rushmore, right? We talk about Mount Rushmore of different things all the time, but Tom Cruise has got to be up there.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, he's one face of the four,
especially with all the Mission Impossible stuff.
Yeah, and
kind of
so
puts it over the top.
So I think like Tom Cruise, the actor. There are films where he's just doing the action thing, the stunt thing, and that's what sells the movie. Really, the Mission Impossible movies and whatnot. And then there are movies that are more dramatic. This movie is kind of in between the two because there are a lot of fighting. There's a lot of fighting in this movie.
So some of the best stuff, though, like the final battle is what it is. It's just a big mess of war.
Right.
But I really like when the ninjas attack, right? And I call them ninjas because they actually have like on black suits and black masks. They might be the wrong term, but they attack the samurai village, and they have to defend them. I like the battle in the house where Ken Watanabe and Tom Cruise are kind of working together to battle mofos. That shit was awesome. Like, that's my thing. I love combat, like hand-to-hand combat, swords and shit. That was awesome.
Yeah, and so there is a lot of good action in this movie, but there's also a lot of cinematic, dramatic sequences, and I don't know if this film got nominated for anything, but the cinematography is really, really great in this movie. I just from watching it, I would think
got 4 nominations.
Yeah, I would think that this movie was shot in Japan.
Best art direction, set decoration, best costume design, sound mixing, and then Ken Watanabe got a supporting role nod.
Okay. Yeah. All deserving, I think. But for my money, I've seen better performances from Tom Cruise in other things. I just think, and a lot of this movie, he's kind of like emoting, just brooding a little bit. I did appreciate that the film shows him learning Japanese, and that he is learning how to sword fight, and he's learning kind of the customs of the Japanese people in this time. But like, I really wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see Tom Cruise learning how to become a samurai. Like the movie takes place over like the span of a year, I think. And so it's assumed that he's learned all that. But I wanted to see it, right? It's because there's a lot of really great Japanese actors in this movie. One of them is I'm trying to find his name. Hiroyuki Sanada, and he's been in a lot of other things, but I think right now he's been in he plays a samurai guy in the show Shogun, but he's also been, and he's a hand-to-hand guy, the John Wick movies. Just the Mortal Kombat movie. He played Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Like which one? The new one?
The new one, yeah.
Oh.
I thought you liked that one.
Nah.
Yeah.
It was all right. It just wasn't. The fact that they cast and made up a new character to be the lead, bullshit.
But no, I mean, so there's a lot of really great Japanese actors in this movie that I think probably could have gotten a little bit more screen time if the film had slowed down a little bit and had taken its time in certain areas where Tom Cruise is learning how to be a samurai and learning the customs and essentially falling. Like, I mean, honestly, they could have made this film a romance, and I would have been okay with it, is because it's got Tom Cruise as a fucking samurai.
What if they made it a slapstick comedy and Tom Cruise is a samurai?
He can do it, because I mean, we've seen.
What's your favorite comedic Tom Cruise role? Well, actually, that's not fair. Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, it's Tropic Thunder, of course. But like, we've seen it. We've seen Tom Cruise in that role, and he kills it. So I mean, Tom Cruise, like,
you have a man crush on Tom Cruise.
I probably do, but
you do.
I don't know. I don't know if you can be underrated and Tom Cruise at the same time, but I think he is. As an actor, I think Tom Cruise is incredibly underrated, even though he's one of the most successful actors to ever live and most popular actor. I mean, he's 60-something years old, and he's diving out of planes and shit like that in fucking movies. So, like, he's probably the coolest man alive.
Well, there's the whole Scientology thing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's crazy, but
he's
crazy
like
cool.
Borderline, Leonardo DiCaprio with his dating.
Is he?
Borderline. He's not as bad.
He was married to Nicole Kidman. She's old.
She's old now.
Yeah.
She's as old as he is now.
But I mean, like, who is
Katie Holmes wasn't, though.
Oh, that's right.
And he's like an absentee father, isn't he?
Well, isn't every celebrity an absentee father?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. Maybe. But regardless, doesn't make it okay.
Don't have kids if you're going to be absent.
I don't think M. Night Shyamalan is an absentee father, because he's trying to set his children up for as much success as possible. I don't think Tom Cruise knows the names of his kids.
Hey, on your other podcast, did you review the Trap movie? The
Trap? Oh yeah.
Did you? What did you think of it? What did we did? I mean, we're gonna.
It was all right. It's
kind of dumb.
It's not one of his best movies. Yeah. But there's still things to like about it.
Yeah. I mean, his daughter.
You didn't like it. That's fine.
Yeah. It was too much, like, trying to set his daughter up, I think.
Yeah. There was a lot of that.
Yeah. Which is kind of his thing.
His other daughter got to direct a film.
Right. Well, in that film that she directed was good.
The thing I like about it. Was it? You like The Watchers?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting concept.
Okay.
A unique horror film.
I didn't like The Watchers as much.
Oh. I thought it was unique.
Personally.
It's this, like, the last act of the movie is kind of bonkers. Much like every other Shyamalan movie, but
yeah.
No, I thought The Watchers was fine, especially for somebody's, like, debut.
For their first film,
right.
For sure.
Yeah.
But she had the benefit of, we talk about this on the episode, but the thing that makes it okay for me is they fully acknowledge the nepotism. He's like, yeah, I'm absolutely doing this for my kids to set them up for success.
Yeah.
I'm using my platform to push them forward, because every parent would.
Right.
The problem is when you don't acknowledge it, when you are someone, like Tori Spelling, who got her role on 90210, the show her dad was making. Well, I still had to audition. Yeah.
Bitch, please.
Right. Like, okay.
Yeah, but see, like, when it bites Shyamalan in the dick is like, what's the movie with Will Smith and his kid? After Earth. Yeah.
Another Shyamalan classic.
Right. But that's nepotism there, is because I think Will Smith's on record as saying, yeah, I told Shyamalan I'm not doing the movies if you're not casting my kid in the lead role. And so it's like, okay. Well, I mean, you're Will Smith. Of course, I'm going to cast your kid as the main, get you in my movies.
Well, and it's Will Smith's movie in concept, though.
Right.
They just brought in Shyamalan to direct it.
Yeah. Will Smith. All right. That's a whole different Will Smith on. Anyways, back to this Last Samurai. Anyways, the film's pretty straightforward. I mean, the film is setting up this final battle between. I mean, it's essentially Custer's last stand, but they're making. What I didn't understand about the plot here is that they're essentially painting Custer out to be a martyr essentially, and because Katsumoto is a martyr.
I think you mispronounced monster, but
Well, no, but like the end of the movie, I mean, Katsumoto is very fond of Custer and what he did, and like his his battle prowess and all this, and I thought it was a weird kind of just feeling like knowing that Custer massacred all these Native Americans, and was essentially met his end trying to ethnic cleanse the Midwest, and then Katsumoto's character here being enamored with that and kind of romanticizing Custer's last name. Like it was weird. It's a weird thing.
I didn't understand it, to be honest. Like, what happened to them? Oh, they all got murdered and died, and he thinks that's great. Woohoo! Yay! We're all gonna get murdered and died. This is awesome.
Yeah,
yeah. There are a lot of gaps for this one for me as far as like logic and what's actually happening, and there's pieces missing as to why this battle's going on. For me, I didn't pick up on them.
Yeah, and I don't really think ultimately it doesn't really matter. I don't think
because Tom Cruise is a samurai.
Because Tom Cruise is a samurai, right? Absolutely. Right. I mean, we go to the movies to watch cool shit, and this movie the premise is cool shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Put Tom Cruise in a Michael Bay film.
He hasn't done that yet?
I don't think so. Hey, but did you hear Michael Bay's going to be going back to the Transformer franchise?
Please, God, no.
Yeah. And there's rumors that Shia LaBeouf will also be going back to the Transformers.
Isn't that good and dead? Like, isn't that done enough?
No, because it's on record on this podcast and on the internet that the Michael Bay Transformers movies were all-time greats.
Who said that? You said that.
Look it up. It's on the internet.
Never said that.
I'm just saying that, like, the majority of the internet thinks that Shia LaBeouf and Michael Bay make great movies.
They don't. No, they don't.
Anyways, Jeff,
nobody wants that.
Do you recommend The Last Samurai?
No, I don't recommend The Last Samurai. I think your time is spent better elsewhere. You know what The Last Samurai is? It's a slightly shorter Dances with Wolves.
Okay, yeah, sure. And like I haven't seen Dances with Wolves in a long time.
Yeah, neither have I. I think that this has swordplay and way cooler shit. Like I think Dances with Wolves is way more boring.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean,
what about you?
No, 100%. I recommend this movie.
Of course you do.
Well, I mean, you are getting what you came for, and that is Tom Cruise as a samurai. You are regardless. If Tom Cruise as a samurai was walking through the woods the entire film, I'd recommend it.
That would not be a good movie.
I would recommend it, though, is because that's what we came for. Okay. That's why we're here. That's why we watched this movie. That's why this movie was made, is to put Tom Cruise in a samurai outfit and be like, hey, Tom Cruise, go be Tom Cruise in a samurai outfit. I recommend this. This is the coolest premise of a film. I think across. You
sound like me talking about a Van Damme movie is what's going on right now.
I think this is like there haven't been too many other movies we've reviewed on this podcast with a cooler premise.
I'd have to look back, but I think there are.
Oh, anyways, Jeff.
I think fucking that Nick Cage movie with Pedro Pascal, that's a better premise.
But yeah, that's a cool premise. Okay, but it's not Tom Cruise as a samurai premise.
No, it's not, but it's a better movie. Anyway, let's get off of this shit. I'm done talking about The Last Samurai.
All right, what are we watching next week?
All right, I'm going to give you some choices because I don't know yet. So I'm going to give you 3 options here with, vague clues. I've got a movie from 1983.
Oh, God.
A movie from 94.
Okay.
And a movie from 2006. Don't pick yet.
Okay.
The movie from 83 will give you the most amount of famous people to pick from.
Okay.
Okay. The movie from 94, fewer people to pick from, but an okay amount.
Okay.
And the movie from 2006 will give you nobody to pick from. Well, maybe one. So do you want new? It's basically the older the movie, the more famous people are in it. The newer movie, the fewer famous people are in it.
No, so you relish in the idea of being able to pick a movie with no cast. So I'm gonna go to the 94 movie.
You're going 94, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the middle.
I'm fine with that. So to let you know, the 1983 film was The Outsiders, which is a movie I had to watch in high school after reading the book, which stars C. Thomas Howell, Matt Dillon, Ralph Macchio, Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise, Diane Lane.
Okay, I've never seen it, but okay.
That's a hell of a cast.
Yeah.
You've never seen it?
No.
Okay. The 2006 film stars Billy Connolly, who was in this, and Carrie Ann Moss. And that's it. It's called Fido, where he's like a pet zombie. Never seen it. But we're going to watch a movie I saw in theaters. This is kind of like unto The Last Samurai, where I saw it when I was much younger and really liked it. But does it hold up? Well, let's find out. It stars Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, and Kirsten Dunst, as well as Christian Slater. So you have a lot to work with.
Oh yeah, I like that cast.
It's directed by Neil Jordan. It is Interview with a Vampire.
Okay, let's go. I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through.
I saw it in theaters and really liked it. But again, it's been a long, long time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember the beats of this film. I just don't think I've ever seen it from start to finish. I don't even
think I remember the beats.
All right, let's go. I like it. I like watching new things with a good cast.
Yeah, you could have been watching The Outsiders with an amazing cast.
Yeah, but it's an old movie, so I don't give a fuck.
Says the guy who will watch anything once.
I'm gonna pick Helen McCrory out of the cast here, who plays the role of Second Whore.
Okay.
I'm not.
And what other films
I don't
has
know,
she been
but
in?
I just like that she's credited as Second Whore.
Hey, Monte Cristo from 2002. That's a good movie.
Antonio Banderas, man, I gotta. Oh, Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, okay. I'm not picking a Christian Slater movie though. Okay, cool.
There's good shit out there,
Broken Arrow.
Don't pick a Christian Slater movie. Now, I remember he has a movie called Cuffs, which was a comedy where he's a cop. I remember liking that.
He also has, I mean, he
was a True Romance, which sucks.
Yeah, he does not have a lot. He was everywhere in the 90s.
He was red hot.
And they just fell off. There's like a cliff. Anyways, what you can do is hit the subscribe button when it pops up if you're watching on YouTube. And if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. And you can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. Give us a like, follow, subscribe so you don't miss any future content here on the podcast. And Jeff, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can check out my other podcast called Chronologically, where we're going through the full filmographies of various creators. We are wrapping up our season on Quentin Tarantino here and heading into our next season where we pick back up in the 90s with Stephen King's various adaptations. You can also check out All Things Being Sequel, where we just wrapped up our second season on It's Alive and about to move into our third season covering the Three Ninjas films. If you want to see three middle-aged men crying, you might want to check those out.
Okay. Jeff, any last words?
Nope.